Hey everybody, Marissa here chiming in right at the top because in this episode I neglected to mention something very cool and important, which is that I am the guest on a podcast called Not Another Bad Movie Podcast, coming out April 11th. This Saturday, if you're listening to this the day that it comes out, the movie that I watched with Not Another Bad Movie Podcast's host Megan is a film called InstaPsycho. And it is about modern-day high schoolers who are having a hard time. So, as you can imagine, other than the modern-day part, it was pretty familiar territory for yours truly as a podcaster. Anyway, check out Not Another Bad Movie Podcast anytime after April 11th, 2020. What else are you doing? Okay, here's extra drama. It's extra drama for book number 39, Secret Admirer.
So what does that mean? Miss America?
Hi everybody, I'm Marissa Flaxbart, that's me. And with me again is Megan Collier. Hello. Hello. Right as we were finishing the last episode, you were asking a question about class.
Yeah, I was really curious how... okay, so Paolo, does fatness ever come up also in any of the episodes? We talking about people's bods besides just, their, hot bods? Curious if that comes up. And then, how class functions in the Sweet Valley High world. Yeah. I think there was a moment in this where Elizabeth or Jessica is talking about the kids with the big houses, I think. And it was just, I'm curious about kind of what goes unstated and unmarked in the books.
We joke a lot that it seems like everybody in Sweet Valley is hot. Mm-hmm. People's sexy bodies are described quite a bit. Mm-hmm. There's a passing moment in this book where it talks about Jessica wearing a white string bikini, and another moment where she's wearing this leopard print bikini, and her mother says, "New swimsuit?" Yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, you like it?" And the mom says, "I would like it better on somebody else's daughter." Yeah. So they're very, people are very sexy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a really early book where a character is overweight, mm-hmm. and she becomes slender by the end of the book. And she's, kind of a hero, and it's not like the book is totally unsympathetic mm-hmm. to how badly she's being treated. Her mistreatment by the popular girls is kind of the subject of the book. Mm-hmm. But that's sort of ruined by the fact that the way that she, shows them is by losing all the weight. Yeah. Which perpetuates this myth that fat people are fat because they're lazy, which is bullshit. You know, all sorts. As we know, I feel like this is part of the discourse now. Right. It is possible to, as we're all discovering now, to sit around and not get enough exercise and to gain weight. That happens. Yeah. But you also would just have your body type, right? Mm-hmm. And that's on the list of things that, through a modern lens, feel uncomfortable about Sweet Valley. There's not a ton of race representation, but that sort of gets a little bit addressed. Mm-hmm. You could call it half-assed, but it does get addressed a little bit from book to book. Mm-hmm. Then there's the sexuality question, which I think we're going to come to find there are a couple of times when it maybe almost gets addressed, mm-hmm. at least subtextually. And then, of course, we have our queer readings of the books, which are great. Love to have a guest on that can take that on fully. But I dabble here and there. And then class we're going to get to. But I think that I don't want to go to a place where I'm, comparing different plights. But I definitely think that the weight discrimination is something that the books never really handle in a great way. Mm-hmm. And I think I don't know if we've still really gotten there. Yeah. So no wonder that in the 80s the books are still being written as if it's an okay stance to be uncomfortable around fat people, period. Yeah. And I feel like that was also, even Harry Potter, right? The Dursleys as their bodies being these things that you can poke fun at. It's still very socially acceptable. Yeah. I would argue, but right. So class. Was there something in particular about in the books that made you wonder about class?
Yeah, I was just curious if it's like, if everyone is middle class, like, quote unquote middle class in the books, or if there's like, hold on. Lila lived in the most exclusive area of town on the hill overlooking Sweet Valley. As Jessica drove up the winding road, she passed stately mansions separated from each other by discreet hedges and wide manicured lawns. So just like, I think I was curious about like space and like if this is like ever addressed and like if this is ever like a topic of.
I was reminded in this book that where the Lila lives is called Fowler Crest. Yes. Which doesn't that sound like a soap opera name?
Yeah.
Well, we actually just had a sort of eye-opening book a couple books ago where there was like an even wealthier, even fancier town next door or like area of town. But it's like the Fowlers and the Patmans are the really wealthy families.
Okay.
And then every once in a while, a character or a family will pop up that seems to have a lot of wealth too. The Morrows have a lot of wealth.
Okay.
But they're not stuck up about it. But yeah, I think generally speaking, everybody is sort of assumed to be middle or upper middle class. And then there are storylines about the rich kids, which is, I think, a little bit of like an escapist fantasy of the books. And then a lot of stuff happens at the rich kids' houses because they have money and space, and Lila throws parties, Bruce will throw parties. And then there are storylines that are around people being really poor, and then you get to see the kids kind of mistreating or being unfair to people that are poor because they're poor, or poor characters trying to hide their poorness or the fact that they have a job outside of school.
Got it. Yeah.
It's I don't think that the book goes as far as like participating in that kind of shaming. If we want to give the series a ton, like all of the credit, we could say that it's just being realistic about how teenagers are, and how society is.
Yeah.
But we see it. We see that happen.
Right. The characters without the cool clothes and to like.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Nobody's poor in Secret Admirer.
Yeah. Right.
Not visibly, at least.
Yeah. I was wondering how the Wakefields were compared to Lila's. Like, they also have a stately mansion, but my guess was no, based on like the differentiation.
They have a California style house with Spanish tile roof, and
it's my dream.
Yeah, they have a perfect house. Yeah. And they have 3 cars, and also Stephen has a car. So mom and dad have a car. The twins share a car.
A little Fiat or something.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I'm not sure why that's.
We got a few car names in this one. Kirk, I think it is, drives a Trans Am, white Trans Am. Hot looking car.
Yeah. hot boy, hot car.
Yeah. There was one other thing that I thought might be fun to talk about, just because it was so interesting in this book to get a look at the way that all of these kids had these varying opinions about like the very idea of posting personal ads in the paper. Nowadays, it's such a normal thing to think about, like getting a date or finding dates through, I don't know, some other way than just meeting people. You can see this, like, I feel like this book is like a historical document in this moment in time. It was like, oh, personal ads are for losers,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like first personal ads, then online dating as like this like kind of creepy and weird, like you never know who you're gonna get sort of dynamic.
Yeah. And we get a glimpse of that here.
Yeah, absolutely. So there, in the past, I don't know, year and a half or so, there's been kind of a return to the personal ad dynamics. So like pulling on kind of like some like queer histories of newspaper personal ads, and kind of a return to that, but using Instagram and now an app. But Lex is a like queer personal ad thing. So the like people submit their ads, post them on Instagram, and then folks can connect in this kind of like blind datey way, just with like a very short little snippet about kind of what they're about, what they're seeking. And yeah, I think it seems like it's taking off. The app seems to be successful. Who knows? But it's very fun. I love reading them. Just seeing the way that, the ways people describe themselves, and the sociologist here speaking. The ways people describe themselves and their desire, and like kind of what they're seeking.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
So if you were a John Carger, what you would do is you would get an account on this app and you would answer a bunch of people's posts. Rather than just being an observer from the outside and, like, calling them up and saying, can you just tell me a little bit about your experience with this app?
I'll just send some flirty exchanges, some flirty DMs back and forth. Right. And, that's the appropriate sociological way to proceed. Yeah,
I guess at least he didn't ghost them. He let them down. But
John Carger. I'm just, like, I'm shocked. Also, like, Faye is not... innocent either.
No. Yeah. I think Faye knows she's hot too. Yeah. She's like not even worried.
Oh, John.
She's not even a little bit worried about sending her dorky but sexy boyfriend out on all these dates with high school girls.
Yeah. I mean, some
sexy ones.
I also am always like skeptical of, college boys that are dating high school girls.
Oh, for sure.
It's always like it's always creeped me out a little bit.
That's the creepiest thing about Paolo's letter, I think, above all.
Yeah.
Is that, like, you seem like, I can't find any girls in college who are my speed.
Yeah.
It's like, ew, what does that say about you, dude?
Yeah.
It's one thing to be like, oh, I'm 19, I'm willing to date a 16-year-old. It's another thing to be like, none of these 19-year-olds have what I'm looking for. Yeah. I'm going to go back to the high school, the local high school, and let one of those girls explode on me.
Yeah. It's like, oh, gross.
Sorry.
Love dessert.
Yeah. But he did love dessert.
Yeah, you're right.
Although we see him eating a breadstick, but the only dessert we see in this book is the baklava that John Carger gets at the Greek restaurant.
Oh, I don't remember that.
That's fine. It's not an important detail.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Literally read this book mere hours ago.
Yeah.
The book it made a whole big thing about how Jessica didn't know what baklava was, and so then when she gets it, she describes it, and you can like see the editor being like, teens will not know what this means. You must describe it.
Yeah, like John is so worldly that he knows what baklava is.
Yeah. I mean, it is 1987, so who knows? Maybe.
That's a good point.
Is it? I don't know. I feel like Greek restaurants have been around for a long time.
Maybe like, I don't know.
Megan, thank you again for being here.
Yeah.
And Gladiators, tune in next week for the conclusion of season 4 of Sweet Valley Diaries. And bring your Kleenex. Hopefully not because you're ill. Yeah. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Good job.
Oh, apparently it's raining, I guess.
So does that mean Miss America?
Shit, I didn't have you tease the next book.
Do you want to do this now?
Yeah.
Okay. Just this part.
Yeah.
Okay. Will Amy succeed in luring Bruce away from Regina? Find out in Sweet Valley High number 40, On the Edge.
Oh, God. That's so bad.